Microtrends Squared, the new small forces driving today's big disruptions by Mark Penn. Microtrends and the bigger picture. Microtrends drive the contemporary world. Rather than insisting on a single sweeping explanation for the forces that shape modern times, you can see distinct, smaller trends at work. These trends push and pull society in different ways, resulting in conflict. Big data, hidden algorithms, and artificial intelligence shape an increasingly personalized world. Trends that started innocently, like cell phones communicating your location via GPS, become something darker as companies and governments collect data about you. We live in strange times in which numbers and facts seem to hold no weight compared to hunch, belief, and opinion. Social shifts produce new winners and losers. Senior citizens exercise political power far more effectively than millennials. Rural areas depopulate, but within the United States, they exercise disproportionate power. Nationalism has revived as a rejection of globalism. These factors contributed to President Donald Trump's election, in that he speaks and fights for the old economy rather than the new digital world. Shifting personal relationships. In one microtrend, more people are deciding not to marry. Those who do marry, wait until later in their lives. Since the 1970s, the median age of first marriages has gone up 5 years. People also become parents later. Within heterosexual marriage, second-fiddle husbands are becoming common. They earn less than their wives, and accept an equal or lesser status. Those who divorce often remarry, even multiple times. Modern life is at a vital crossroads. Even just 10 years ago, online dating carried a stigma. Now, it is common for all demographic groups. In some categories, such as gay men, it is the primary way married couples met. Single seniors stay sexually active. Older bachelors experience dating differently than older women. Since men tend to die earlier than women, single senior women outnumber senior men. Many senior men stay single as a result, and STDs are on the rise among seniors. Families used to buy pets mainly for their kids. Now people treat pets more like children, buying them special food and sending them on vacations. Something's happened over the last decade in America. The most optimistic, can-do country has become mired in endless pessimism and negativity. People used to have roommates only when they were young or in college. More people now become roomies for life. Thus millennials enjoy community without getting married. Revenge of the nerds. People used to make fun of nerds, as in the 1984 movie Revenge of the Nerds. But, as power shifts to Silicon Valley and advanced technology permeates daily life, nerd culture has become mainstream, and nerds with money exercise increasing economic power. The nation founded on free speech is grappling with how to live with free speech in the era of the Internet troll. Drug use is more mainstream, and a legal marijuana industry has emerged. The beauty industry is globalizing, bringing face masks and other treatments from Korea to the United States. Women increasingly go armed. Following the banking crisis of 2008 and the September 11 terrorist attacks, more Americans see the world as a dangerous place. Overall gun sales are up. More people are becoming preppers, readying themselves for the end of civilization by stockpiling guns, canned goods, water and other essentials. A growing industry includes real estate firms specializing in properties with off-the-grid features, such as multiple water sources and solar power. Food, medicine and health. How people eat is changing. The ratio among their food choices is shifting. At the turn of the century, carbohydrates ruled, leading to grain farmers dominating ranchers. Now, protein is king. Beef, chicken and fish sales are up, and protein powder sells widely. For the first time in history, people are eating so much protein it disrupts their health. Fast food sales are up and, thanks to new apps like Uber Eats, more people order food to be delivered. Our ability to stay connected with so many others has led to fewer deep and lasting connections. People replace home-cooked meals with pre-measured servings, and bars or products like Soylent, which promises to deliver all nutritional needs efficiently. Other people monitor their food consumption precisely, seeking optimum diets for perfect nutrition. This leads to trends that are food-specific, kale sales are high, or method-specific, eating raw food. We cannot continue to operate with the secret system of data collection that is gradually bringing privacy down to zero. People are living longer than before because of a lack of major wars, improved medicine and more frequent checkups that allow earlier diagnoses. A diagnosis of cancer used to be a death sentence. Today, an increasing number of people with the disease are living 5 years or longer after their initial diagnosis. The demographic shift to an older population has implications in politics, as seniors continue to exercise power, economics, as the ratio of retirees to workers shifts, and technology, as simpler cell phones and personal robots have emerged in response to senior needs. Fewer American adults are tying the knot these days, and that is drastically impacting the way we live. As demands on children and teachers rise, and more people gain access to health care, society medicates children for simply acting out or for ADHD. Similarly, teens get pills for attention-related disorders, as well as depression. Males are more likely to suffer expulsion from school. They are also more likely to become violent, to end up in prison, or to become addicted to drugs or gambling. Men are more prone to becoming obese and are less likely to see doctors. Men used to earn all or almost all college degrees, and they dominated the professions that pay better. Now, women earn more degrees. Technological trends. Cell phone addiction is rampant. Many people check their phones 200 times a day. They are addicted to other technological innovations, like augmented reality. Consider Pokémon Go. In this game, people move through the physical world while interacting with a video game digitally imposed on that world. What used to be at most 5 years from class graduation to marriage and kids has expanded to 10 years, thus allowing a cohort of young Americans to remain footloose and fancy-free (FFF). Pokémon Go's designers meant it to be addictive and costly for users. Like other games, it includes microtransactions, in which players spend money in the digital realm, which means spending actual money in the real world. Digital tailors now use technologies to make an established product, such as bespoke clothes, more widely available. Apps pose questions and use cameras to enable people to measure themselves and order clothes electronically that arrive within a few days. Roomies for Life is allowing a generation, mostly millennials in dense urban areas, to craft a community, put off marriage by having companionship without commitment, and increase their social spheres. Other firms use programs to translate languages, not perfectly, but far more cheaply and quickly than a professional would, and far faster than it would take someone to learn a language. This will kill the market for foreign language teachers, and increase people's ability to do business with or live within other countries. The speed with which Americans can get a meal is at the fastest it's ever been, but all of a sudden, a drive-through window might not be fast enough. People become rich, and even become millionaires, by getting views on YouTube and Instagram. This includes kids, who are starting businesses at younger ages. Another trend is fakesters, hackers who perpetrate online scams and attacks. Fake news is profitable, so are fraud and malware. In the quantified self QS movement, self-data lovers track their health-related habits like counting their steps or limited food intake. Researchers track mood, sleep or television viewing habits through people's cell phones and watches. People with disabilities use technology to boost their hearing and vision. They print prosthetic limbs with 3D printers. Other people use technology to attain better vision and hearing, or direct neural access to computers. Just when we think we are going to have robots and driverless cars, reality pulls us back. Microsoft's old dream of putting a PC on every desk is fading as people increasingly use smartphones instead of computers. They turn to services like Amazon's Alexa, and use them without a computer. As AI develops, bots with benefits will emerge. These BWBs include ATMs and AI-enhanced sex BWBs, which hit the market in 2018. The next great danger here is that we will create technology we cannot control. New Luddites use technology consciously and selectively to maintain better control over it and its effects. This means avoiding social media platforms, taking breaks from being online or using technology as status symbols. Some people use older flip phones or email accounts from Yahoo or AOL. Political and economic changes. The work with limits economic microtrend encompasses people who toil less than full-time because they don't want to build their lives around work. Working shorter hours, virtually or not, becomes more possible as automation replaces assembly line jobs. Digital technology supports the rise of the new factory worker. These workers take orders digitally and eventually do complete jobs, downloaded from TaskRabbit, StyleSeat, Instacart or other services. A related trend is the rise in the number of personal assistants or specialized personal laborers, such as the babysitter, chef or nanny who provides specialized services for couples who both earn high incomes but lack spare time. Many people are becoming entrepreneurs, including many women who become microcapitalists in the quest for economic independence. Old economy voters. Old economy voters are on the rise. Accepted wisdom holds that globalization is the future, but stagnating wages, an increase in immigration and the loss of manufacturing jobs created discontent among voters. Trump fused that discontent into a voting bloc that led him to the White House. This old economy backlash will wane within a decade, but it isn't a fad or racism. In part, it's a response to the cultural dominance of impressionable elites. We live in a microtrends world. It's driven by granular, often opposite patterns of human behavior that seem small but punch above their size. That term refers to people who are more likely to follow what they hear on mass media than are other people who are less educated. Their influence is one reason the dominant face of culture in the United States is liberal. The media, sports and education all align with liberal values. However, many people voted for Trump because he appealed to closet conservatives. Barack Obama was an impressionable elite president. The founders designed the United States with the assumption its elites could and would guide it. The United States is at risk if elites detach from reality. Immigration. Legal and illegal Hispanic immigrants together form an increasingly powerful political bloc. Hillary Clinton was adamantly against illegal aliens in 2008. By 2016, she supported comprehensive immigration reform, and by the end of her campaign, she stopped discussing it. Liberals argue for sanctuary and immigration reform, conservatives want border security and a wall. The recent crisis in Syria has led to more refugees from the Middle East. The Asian American share of the U.S. population has grown. Asian Americans form a demographic with high levels of education and income. Improved media attention and formal political representation reflect this status, as does the recent election of the first Thai and Vietnamese American representatives. The United States was always optimistic, but now Americans entertain endless pessimism and negativity. This started with September 11, 2001, the last time America enjoyed unity. Wars since have contributed to this negativity, as has a shift to negative ads in political campaigns. The result is a widespread loss of faith in public institutions including the law, the media and the U.S. Congress. Dealing with microtrends. Some of the trends shaping the contemporary world clash with each other, creating paradoxes. More choice leads to fewer choices, more connections lead to shallower connections, and so on. To deal with these paradoxes, people need to take difficult actions. First, break out of your silos. Don't stick only to what and who you already know, meet representatives of all sides of an issue. A related change reshaped the distribution of news. The Internet disrupted traditional journalism. What emerged in its place is a process that uses algorithms to sort information for narrow audiences, thus reinforcing closed points of view. The world needs new standards of ethics to address complex emerging issues in data use, digital technology and AI. Corporate data collection needs to be restrained. Democracy needs to be bolstered. Several actions would make American politics more democratic: universal voter registration, easier access to voting, changes in the nomination process, standardized primaries and a review of all political ads to promote fairness.